Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to more Baldur's Gate 3. We are still making our way through the Underdark. It's a pretty big area. Last time, I think Myconid Colony was the last episode, and then from there we headed up here where we found a Zentrum sort of smuggling area that looks like it's been abandoned, and a elevator lift type thing that looks like it's heading presumably up, obviously up to the surface, maybe to the mountain pass? I don't know, we didn't go through it. So that's where we left off, battled some Minotaurs here, and then, yeah, we're going to continue downward and finally look at what's kind of in this area that we've been avoiding. Obviously Minotaur, we saw one attack the gate, we fought two over here, so that'll be exciting. In the meantime, I got a response on YouTube. A while ago I asked about good Lithid powers, because none of them seemed that interesting to me, and I got a response. So one point was the overload that we gave to Astarion. They pointed out that obviously anyone who makes multiple attacks can benefit from this. For instance, when we cast Magic Missile or Scorching Ray, that would also be affected. So there's an idea. Favorable beginnings. So first attack roll or ability check you make against any target gains a bonus equal to your proficiency bonus. They claim, and I'd have to see it, but they claim this also applies even to talking. So when I'm trying to persuade or whatever, it's just a passive feature where I just get an extra proficiency bonus on the first roll with a target. That sounds pretty good. Luck of Far Realms. Where was that one? I went through all of them before starting recording. Here we go. Once per long rest, you can change a successful attack roll against a foe into a critical hit. So once per long rest, whoever has this ability could just get more crits. Well, a additional crit. So if you line up a really good attack and then it happens to hit, then you can turn it into a crit to do double damage. Sounds cool. I don't know if I'd call it amazing. Cull the Weak down here. Whenever you bring a creature down to fewer hit points than your number of evolved Lithid powers, in this case it would be 2, and that would bring us to 3. I'm assuming this starting one counts. Then they automatically die, and creatures around them. I'm worried about creatures because it doesn't say enemies, but creatures around them take 1 to 4 psychic damage, which means it could end up hitting our party. But the point they make is that I would stop leaving enemies at 1 hit point, which I do far too much. So that's a cool option as well. Let's see. Shield of Thralls creates a 10 temporary hit point shield around you or an ally, presumably within 30 feet. And then if that shield goes down due to damage, it bursts, stunning nearby foes. Sounds cool. Get it on one of your melee characters, or I could put it on a more ranged character and then just cast it onto a melee character. Either way, like the ability onto my character, because obviously Lae'zel is my main melee character at the moment. Karlach I could also bring back out, but I don't think either one of them is yet wanting to use the Lithid powers, and I don't want to persuade them. So I'm curious if they will eventually change their mind. Yeah, but we could put this on someone else and then have them cast it onto Lae'zel. Or we could give it to like Astarion, because he's in melee often enough and he could put it on himself, or he could put it on Lae'zel if he prefers. Either way, 10 temporary hit points is great, and then the potential of stunning nearby foes is also fantastic. And then the last one was that they mentioned is this Perilous Stakes, which is kind of a high risk, high reward, it seems. Invest a creature with a power that heals it when it attacks, but also makes it vulnerable to all damage. It only lasts for 3 turns, which isn't amazing, but vulnerable to all damage is terrible. But if you're attacking multiple times in a turn, and you're healing 2d8 hit points on every attack, and it doesn't say when you hit, it's when you attack. So, potentially you could get a good amount of hit points back, but you are vulnerable to all damage, which I think means double damage. Yeah, take twice as much damage. So, against all damages. That's really risky. So I don't know. I think we've got these 4 tadpoles, and there's no reason to leave them necessarily sitting around. So I am tempted to give favorable beginnings to my main character, just because I assume they're correct, and this would help out on our dialogue checks, which I'm okay with. Getting just a +3 bonus that'll get even higher as we go up levels. And then I think I'm also going to get Call of the Week on my main character. Both of those sounded quite good. I think I'm going to hold off on Psionic Overload. It sounds good because we can use those spells that hit multiple times, but it uses my action to use it. So I'm giving up basically a whole turn because I don't have a lot of bonus action options. So I'd give up basically my whole turn to get 9 more turns of doing extra damage, but I also don't use a ton of those multi-hit spells because I would just go through my spell slots too fast. So, yeah. And then maybe we'll give Shield of Thralls to Astarion, although would he need... He'd have to buy something... I wish it was clearly defined exactly what opens up what. Like, I bought this and that opened up these 2 powers, but it's like, to get this, presumably you have to buy this one. I think? It's not clear. So, anyway. Yes, we're back on Varric. So, for Varric, we will buy Favorable Beginnings, which opens up Charm, preventing them from attacking you the next turn. Or Luck of the Far Realms. Yeah, that's the one that turns a regular hit into a critical, which could be cool. We will also pick up Call of the Week. And that's opened up this option, but it's still locked. But we could now pick up that option, whatever it ends up being. And then we have 2 more.
Someone there.
So I could give Astarion Transfuse Health, which he would never use. Sacrifice half your remaining hit points to heal a target for the same amount. Yeah, it's unlikely I would ever use that ability. Is it worth 2 points to get him down to Shield of Thralls? And the answer is probably not. Is there anyone I would want to get Perilous Stakes on? I think I'd have to go... Yeah, because he's already got this one and it didn't go over there, so it would also take Transfuse Health. Perilous Stakes would also be good on him. Because he attacks 3 times, so he'd get triple healing in a turn. Most turns. Granted, Lae'zel attacks twice, although she's not using Psionic abilities. I think I'm going to hold off. We'll keep them in mind. I might end up giving Astarion these 2. Or these 2. Haven't made up my mind there. In the meantime, if we go back to Varric, we now have passive of this that's now just always on. But there's a chance I might blast my own allies with it. And we'll have to keep that in mind. We could turn it off if we want to make sure we're not accidentally hitting our allies. But with that out of the way, time to finally start moving forward. There's a lot of random things on the ground. Alright, so we could go either direction. But I saw items over here that were showing up. I'm just gonna grab them while I see them. And this takes us back here where we already were, yes? Maybe? Yes. We've already been there. Whoa, camera. Oh, you guys got too close to one of those again. And thankfully, Shadowheart didn't lose her mind again, because she apparently is terrible wisdom save. At least I assume it's wisdom save. No, constitution save. Okay, that's fair. Oh. See, these don't show up as things to collect, but I can click on them to collect items. Well, that's kind of annoying that they don't highlight as a collectible. So I'm sure I've missed a ton of those in the past. Pickaxe. Glowing bulb.
Here we go.
What are you? Are you a thing I can collect? No. See, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Anything interactable, collectible, whatever, should be highlighted by the highlight action button. The arbitrary choice to just highlight some things and not others just feels weird because no other CRPG acts like that I know of.
Let's have a look.
Like, I get there's things that we won't get the perception check on, and that's totally fine. Let's see. We'll want to swing around back up that way to make sure I didn't miss anything. But if it's not a perception check issue, I should just see it all when I highlight. Take the dagger. What do we have here? Crushed body. Yum. Ooh. Shinies. Don't need the torch. So this is leading up to the front of the temple, which I probably don't want to approach, it occurs to me. Now I'm wishing I'd turned it off inside the temple. Staff of the Moon Maiden. Oh, dude, I don't know how close I'm allowed to get. What is this staff that we just picked up? Where are you? Staff of the Moon Maiden. Here we go. So it's a quarterstaff, 0 to 7 damage. Doesn't do anything. No special abilities. Just looks neat. The staff's blue inlays and moon-shaped ornamentation indicate its use among Selûne's clergy. Well, we've got a journal here, and those are always fun to read. Click on the journal, please. Urgh. So finicky. It always felt vainglorious to think my deeds worthy of a personal journal, but as I watched the drow mass outside our gate, I realized my arrogance is already a far costlier sort. I see no harm in tipping the scales a little farther. Not for me, but for those who followed me down in the dark. They deserve to be remembered. Initiate Norn Remmes, lost in the deep tunnels as we fell back from the drow. Initiate Thulk of the Northern Wastes, grazed by an arrow and succumbed to poison. Initiate Bree Brecca, who stood against a Dryder with only her mason's hammer. Wow, that's an impressive fight. And initiates they are, the entire company, for they have seen and suffered too much to be called novices. We've collapsed the tunnel behind, and have made ready to open the gate. Perhaps we can carve a path through, and if not, I enclose a list of names. Let the annals show that, whatever their end, the cause was the same. One High Initiate Jairus wished to stamp his name in the history of his church. He sought to forge a path through the darkness, not realizing there are some places the light was never meant to touch. He was a fool. Yeah. Going into the Underdark with the intent to stamp out the darkness Like, you're never going to be able to remove all of the darkness from the Underdark.
Worth a look. Not a chance I'll fit in there.
Yeah. Wish there was an easy way back in. There is actually with the teleporter, but we don't have a teleporter back direct that. Well, we can walk outside the gate. Yeah. I like that. Let's teleport there. Then we go here and pull the lever. Okay, that did not turn off the magic. We could attack the moonstone. I don't really want to damage it because it's probably valuable. Are you valuable? Doesn't say. Though ancient and cracked, a powerfully divine energy laps from the gem in waves, singeing everything in its path. Well, since it doesn't specify a value, it's probably not any good way for me to collect it. I mean, arguably I could stack up a bunch of boxes and hope that once I'm high enough, there's some way to grab it, but I'm guessing not. So, yeah. Shatter the moon. Destroy Seluna's protection over the Underdark fort. Probably a bad thing. That's probably going to come back to haunt me. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it does. But hey, I want to loot everything out here, and I was scared of those lasers. Wow, there was nothing of value out here to loot. That makes that even more of a shame. Ah, well. Oh, another journal. Let's read it. I can't sleep without the moon and stars. As a child, I prayed to them before I ever knew Seluna's name. Is that blasphemy? When I walk the battlements, the only light I see is the glow of their eyes. Out there, waiting. I know the High Initiate is making a plan. He'll get us out of this. We're making a stand. Moon Maiden fair, lend us your light, to guide us home in dark of night, to keep us on the path of right, ever burning, ever... The last line of the prayer succumbs to blurring, as if stained by something wet. Hopefully tears? Crying out of fear of what you're having to do, because they've already gone outside of the fort. Maybe fear? Could be blood. If you were killed mid-journal writing, in which case you were not paying attention to what was going on around you. There are a lot of bodies here. Obviously the battle against the drow did not go in your guys' favor. I mean, I can't say that. Potentially they killed a lot of drow. For all I know, a lot of these skeletons are drow skeletons. So I suppose it's not fair for me to say they lost. Looks like there's another path underneath where we are now. Okay, we go here and then down. We still need to figure out what to do about those mushrooms I'm supposed to find at the tower that I already found and picked. So they're no longer there. And then ground up into alchemical ingredients. So, does this look like a glowing sword and a stone to anyone else? 'Cause that's what it looks like to me. Valar Aluv. The drow inscription on this blade appears to have been recently carved. It translates to, though I have to leave you, I will dance forever in Elistrai's light. I don't know who Elistray is. Let's save before we try and pull the sword out of the stone.
A slender drow blade impales the stone before you, keeping a silent vigil.
Good looking blade. Grab the sword with both hands and pull. That's gonna super fail. Religion. We are equally bad at both. This feels holy. Consider what the appropriate ritual might be. Yeah, I should have let someone else try. And so I shall. We could have Shadowheart try for religion. Is Shadowheart actually even good at religion?
Unnoticed.
Nope, not crouch. I'd C for character, and that is not how this works. Religion. Only a +3. But that's +3 on top of your intelligence of 0. Yeah, that's pretty terrible. Versus Lae'zel. It's just strength. We don't get to add like athletics or anything to it. But I'm guessing it's still better. Her strength is going to be a +4. Potentially we could have multiple people try. Who knows? Lae'zel, try and pull the sword from the stone.
Slender drow blade impales the stone before you, keeping a silent vigil.
Grab the sword with both hands and pull. Take some guidance. We could take advantage. We'd use a 2nd level spell slot. We've already got a +5 to 8. Which means on average we'll succeed. Like on a roll of a 10 we succeed. Potentially even down to something like 7 we could succeed. Go for it. No! Come on, Lae'zel. Ooh, you can roll again. Again, chances aren't amazing, but they're not bad. But whenever we're up to 4 inspiration, it's always nice to use it because any future inspirations will be wasted. So we can't stack higher than 4. So I like to stay at 3, just in case. Go again. Oh! A 5 and a 2? Really? Well, let's see if Shadowheart can give it a shot afterwards.
No matter how you grip or tug, the sword remains firmly lodged in the stone.
We can. Alright, Shadowheart then.
I'm ready. Whatever it takes.
You give it a shot.
Slender drow blade impales the stone before you, keeping a silent vigil.
And you can use both options as well, so everyone gets 2 chances to pull out the sword? That seems a little crazy. Like, yeah, DC 15's a bit high, but it's not that crazy. It makes me feel like this is a trap. Because if they're giving us 8 chances to succeed... yeah. And we don't know, potentially Lae'zel could just step back, come back, and get another attempt. But it feels like, wow, our dice are not working with us today.
You can't recall anything this esoteric. There are too many rituals about swords to count.
I mean, might as well have you attempt your strength roll. Nope. We have yet to roll above a 10 on the die. Or 10 or above.
No matter how you grip or tug, the sword remains firmly lodged in the stone.
Alright, Varric, it's up to you.
Let's get going.
A slender drow blade impales
Yes, we
the
know.
stone before you, keeping a silent vigil.
I think we'll go with religion for you. Take the guidance. He's got bliss spores. That was for the peace, being the peacekeeper or whatever, I believe. So we've got a +1 to 9. If we can roll something that's, you know, reasonable, not just a bunch of 2s and 5s, maybe we'll pull it off. There we go. Yeah, I just need to have Varric give it a shot.
This blade was a warrior's sacrifice to Illustray. Blood can only be honored with blood.
Illustray. I don't know who that is. Do I want to shed a few drops of blood to Illustray? I mean, I'm tempted to shed a few drops for Bo. Not my own blood, obviously, but... Let's try the strength check. If we pull that off, then we can see what happens, and if not, hopefully it still gives us the shot. Because after Shadowheart used both options, it still gave her the option to leave on her own. It didn't just kick her out. So I'm assuming if we fail strength, it'll kick us back here, where we have the option to still shed blood, if we want. But if we can just strength pull the sword out, then we don't have to give it blood. And it's not a great roll. Ah, 14. It's fine.
No matter how you grip or tug, the sword remains firmly lodged in the stone.
It was expected. Varric's not the strongest person here. Alright, let's shed a few drops of blood onto the stone. Ew.
The drow script inscribed on the blade flickers and glows. It rises from the stone, hanging in the air in silent offering.
And there, we got our inspiration back, so that's nice. What did we find? Because again, that feels like a trap to just have it that readily available. Alright, so it's a 1d10 or potentially 1d8. Longsword. So whoever we gave it to probably would use it one-handed. For the 1d8. +3 for enhancement. And what? Oh, it's a finesse weapon. Which means it can be used with dexterity. A dex longsword. Sure. Okay, so that's why it's so good as a +3 in Varric's hands. It's because it can be use dex damage. And dex for the attack. Obviously, we're not proficient, so our attack rolls would be terrible, but I wouldn't have Varric hold it. The sword hums in anticipation, ready to sing or shriek. Sing. The sword sings a melody. All allies within 20 feet of range have a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and charisma, wisdom, and intelligence saving throws. Sword will stop singing if unequipped. And that is once per short rest we can do one of these. Or shriek. All enemies within 20 feet have a 1d4 penalty to charisma, wisdom, and intelligence saving throws. Affected creatures receive an extra 1 to 4 thunder damage. Is that only when you do thunder damage? What does it mean, an extra thunder damage? Because if that's thunder damage on every single attack that hits them, that'd be insane. If it just hits them once, then it feels it'd be weird to say an extra 1d4 thunder damage. Unsure. Lasts for 5 turns, once per short rest. It's a +1 and gives +1 to performance, though, again, no bards in the party. But this would be good if we had a bard, like a Bard of Valor. The drow inscription on this blade appears to have been recently carved. It translates to, though I have to... Yeah, we already read that, actually. So let's hand this to... Lae'zel uses two-handed weapons, doesn't she?
Enough waiting.
Yeah, you've got this giant greatsword that you've been holding on to since the start of the game.
What's next?
Shadowheart or potentially Astarion. I don't know if Astarion is trained with longswords. Hello? But as it can be used as a dex weapon, might be interesting to put it in his hands. Because currently he's got 2 short swords. He is proficient. So in his hands it'd be a 1d8 +4 weapon. Which is better than this short sword. Can you use this longsword in your offhand? Yeah, you can. No. It's a longsword, but you feel you need to use it in one hand. Or with both hands. Or at least you can't use a short sword in your offhand. What about a dagger? No. Okay, then definitely not. Let's go back to the weapons you had. Shadowheart has the spear she's been holding on to for ages that just gives her true strike on a miss. Then again, she doesn't attack with melee much. It's a +2 to hit, 3 to 10 damage versus +4 to hit, 2 to 7 damage. So this one's far more accurate. Are you not proficient with this? You're not proficient with longswords. Suppose that's fair. She's not one of the more martial focused cleric. Like war domain and life domain, I think, are more martially focused. They get heavy armor proficiency and probably some more weapon proficiencies. I don't remember exactly. But apparently she does not get longsword proficiency as a trickery domain, which I guess is fair. Weren't we planning to get her some better armor? I want to say we were. And then I just forgot to. Anyway.
Alright, what now?
That was a fun little tangent. But let's carry on.
Maybe I need more pockets. At the ready.
Oh, did we not loot? Yes, we did loot that one already. Where does this lead down to? Oh, we're gonna have everyone go crazy. Yep. Step out of it, please. No laughter, no going crazy, please.
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
And we're doing a decent job of collecting these. Is there someone actually in our party who has a better nature roll? A -1, probably then.
There is work to do.
You got a 0, you've got a +1, and you've got a 0. So I should... Well, it's also based on intelligence. So +1,
No time to waste.
0. No, that is the total. Right. -1 because of our intelligence. Yeah. So Astarion would be the best person to have pick those.
Have a lot on my mind.
If I care enough.
Well, in it. Time to press ahead.
Nothing over here. I believe we've already been here, yes. So So we've now fully mapped out this whole region. So do we go deeper into the Underdark? Or do we see where on the surface this takes us? If it takes us to the Mountain Pass region, then we could possibly explore the Mountain Pass a ways. Or we go deeper into the Underdark. We could also go back to the Arcane Tower and see if we can find a plant that we need. So there's no good fast travel way to get there. Which is somewhat shocking, actually. It's pretty far away from everything. Like, we've got various teleporters around different locations. This is far enough away from everything. I would expect them to have one here, but apparently not. You know what? I'm going to go back to the tower on my own. And if there's nothing of interest there, I don't know, then we'll decide. But yeah, I'll catch up to you when we get there, or just skip it if there's nothing to see. Alright, so we've made our way to the Arcane Tower. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that I somehow missed. Did I miss looting an entire floor? So I'm just noticing a bunch of things that apparently haven't been opened. So there's also this button that I pressed that seems to do nothing.
Strange place for a button. Especially one that doesn't work.
So I'm not sure the deal there, why it's here. But yeah, some basic looting because apparently I missed this floor somehow. Portrait of Marcus Miles. Whoa. So hopefully whatever we're looking for is somewhere on this floor. Journey through the jungle, we've already read that. We found that really early on. Healing potion, always good. Ooh, some books. The Careful Art of Tesseru Ciphers. An engraved disc of Githyanki origin containing a complex cipher that can decrypt ancient Gith dialects. A useful discovery if one should encounter such archaic writings. Huh. Nothing to say, Lae'zel? I'll take it, I guess. The writings on this torn-out strip of paper is shaky and blotted with tears, making it barely legible. The silence stretches on. I'm all alone. Please, can I hold your hands just for a while? Unknown what that's about. Magic of the Weave, an introduction. We might have read this already. Let's see. Yes. We have read this. Soul Coins of Treaties, we read that as well. Alright, to the Grey. From Bakurite we made our stand, meant to rule but led astray. By wicked tentacle and wicked hand, this world belongs to the Grey. Orendal stole all we had, yet taught the weapons by which to slay. Forge your minds to ironclad, this world belongs to the Grey. The exile freed us with his command, to conquer what was taken away. Crush every monument into finest sand, this world belongs to the Grey. Trade your heart for steel intent, for with whip in mind we flay. Let them all hear our descent, the world is nothing but Grey. We know that Wergar apparently sometimes referred to as the Grey.
The disc appears in your mind's eye. Lae'zel sees it too and considers the vision.
Tirsu markings. Ancient. I recognize them, but I can't make sense. No. Wait. The texts are enciphered, but I've solved the pattern. It's a story. About Orpheus.
Your head buzzes in concert with Lae'zel's, but it hardly matters. Even without the connection, you'd recognize her discomfort.
I'm disappointed I missed this earlier, but I'm happy I found it now. Tirsu, you said? What does that mean? Also, I'm surprised it's not mentioning that we found the translation device. Tirsu, you said? What does that mean?
Githyanki writing. Every word a wheel. Every letter a spoke. The most powerful texts are engraved in slate. Some so ancient, only the most erudite Gish can read them.
Who's Orpheus?
A traitor. A dead one. This text is heresy. I can hardly bear to read it, let alone speak it.
You'll bear it just fine. Tell me what it says.
Very well. I will read it to you. The Prince of the Comet, Part 1. So it was that we were free from Geich shackles and turned our blades on each other. The heavens were shattered, and one great empire was divided in two. Gith traveled to the Hells to broker help for her people, her cause. Vlaakith would have you believe Mother Gith proclaimed her our queen. Lies. Gith made no such proclamation. Vlaakith seized the Empire against the Mother's wishes. But Gith had nurtured a son, Orpheus, Prince of the Comet, the true heir. He knew Vlaakith's treachery. Orpheus rallied Gith's honor guard and declared the throne for himself. The War of the Comet had begun. Disregard this drivel. Gith declared Vlaakith queen of the Empire, and her own son defied her. Orpheus would have ceded control to the Geich.
Huh. I wasn't aware that Gith was a person. Obviously, people speak of the Gith, as in the Githyanki, and theoretically the Githzerai as well. And I'm wondering, this division, Vlaakith versus Orpheus, is that the division between Githyanki and Githzerai? Githzerai being nominally more peaceful, more self-focused, rather than battle and conquer. Could be. So, wouldn't surprise me if the undead Queen Vlaakith has declared a history that isn't 100% true, though there's no saying that this Orpheus story is true either. And if it's true, it sounds like Vlaakith betrayed Gith and seized the throne. The story reeks of propaganda, an attempt to foment discontent. Why are you so worked up? It's only a story. It's a story roughly based on real events, it sounds like. So I wouldn't call it only a story. So do we say it's clearly propaganda, or do we ask, what if it is true? She'll hate this. I don't have any reason to upset her. We don't know it's true or false. So we'll just side with her, make her happy. Because we don't know. The story reeks of propaganda, an attempt to foment discontent.
And so it is. A fabrication. A clever one, too, to masquerade as an ancient history. How many such stories could there be? And how many minds have been warped by them?
Very interesting. We're taking that with us. Ooh, it's only part 1. If there are part 1s, then there are
Such a strange disc.
more parts.
Are these Githyanki markings? Lae'zel might know.
You're asking that now after she read it to you? You're not the smartest one, are you? Oral Histories of Faerun, Gith and Mind Flayers. I think we've read this. Maybe not. Unsure. I'll read it anyway. This book comprises several chapters, one for each cited source. It claims to contain first-hand transcriptions of the oral histories of several storytellers throughout the realm. Chapter 4, Baldur the Swift. 700 years of age, wood elf storyteller, hailing from the Wood of Sharp Teeth. It took me several 10 days of quiet habitation in the woods. Oh, I think I have read this. Before the venerable Baldur felt comfortable revealing his presence to me. The longer I stayed, demonstrating I was no threat to his health and peace, the more open he was to gentle inquiry. This tale, relayed to me on a chilly morning as we stoked a small fire between us, was like none I had heard before or since. I asked if it were fiction. He insisted emphatically it were true, as his own right eye. Long ago, before my eyes and ears, before your lonesome Quildir scribe, there was an empire of people, or perhaps only belief. An empire of brain-eaters, soul-wasters. They called themselves Illithids. The Flayers of Minds. The children of Gith were bowed, bent in service of the Flayers, a passionate people made to serve a cold belief. The Flayer were untouchable, their minds a great oppressor. No proud will or passion could break Gith's children free, until at last a reckoning, its source unknown, its power unproven, but its events history-making. The cowed would not be cracked. Gith's children fought back valiantly. Their freedom theirs, the Flayers bent, and broken till today. Amap's Memoirs. My life has been a long succession of pleasures. To see my town take to my ideas and cease legal discrimination of local orcs, to see my fights against horrid living conditions in city factories take off, to have the chance to see new generations take to these ideas of a better, kinder, fairer, intelligent world, and run with it to new reaches of the continent. It was not a life without struggle, however, and I shall regret its failures. My old friend Swelto comes to mind, who adopted such cruel ideologies later in life. I'll forever console myself in the idea that such a brilliant mind would only conceive such theories under the strain of exile, and the promise of reinstatement as she ultimately was. Magic of the Weave, an introduction. He apparently had 2 copies of that book. The Roads to Darkness. Roads to Darkness, an epic tragedy about power, corruption, and loneliness. Prologue, a lonely road. Thunder and lightning, enter Soreth. Soreth, new sounds through damp and dark oppression break. Is it the foe, that foul, contemptuous heel? Or art thou friend, a rescue from my lonely wake? Come out of love for me, not love for blood and steel. Enter Rysia. Rysia, how would I know? How would I know, Soreth? It's been so long. What do I know of you, and you of me? Soreth, wait, do you hear that sound? Enter Amphius. What's this? Those figures so familiar both, but still you seem so strange. Soreth, it's Amphius. Rysia, dear Amphius, what happened to your face? It's pale as death. Soreth, your eyes are black as Shar. Amphius, and you, I saw your teeth, they're sharp as blades. And what is with this road so slick with blood? What happened here? What happened to us all? Exeunt. End prologue. Act 1, 10 years prior. The rest of the play tells the tale of 3 elven friends, their paths to power, and how, corrupted, mad, and lonely, they killed each other. Well, that does sound like a tragedy. Handwritten letter. Dear Lenora, I'm not sure I should say this, but your last letter really worried me. Why in the hells would you tame a boulette? Just because you found it near Myrna's grave, it doesn't mean that's a sign. I'm really worried about you, Lenora. A boulette is not a pet. Using it as a guardian is one thing, but you sound quite taken by it. I know you don't want to come back before you finish your research, but if you are feeling lonely, you know my door is always open. Lots of love and hugs, Emerith. Yes, it really warmed my heart to hear that you put the autumn crocus flowers on Myrna's grave. I remember she liked to roll around in them, even though she always sneezed after. She was such a soft, loyal dog. I wish there was more I could do. That's the dog grave we found earlier. almost certainly. The True and Impossible Adventures of Tenebrix Morrow, Volume 3. We've read several of his volumes. We haven't read this one. An excerpt from The True and Impossible Adventures of Tenebrix Morrow, a pulp serial following the real-life exploits of interplanar ship's captain, and the real Captain Morrow is known to have never left her native Waterdeep and emerges from her room at the yawning portal only to exchange scrawled manuscripts for fresh meals and ink. Much is made of Barovia's gloomy climate. It is said that the mists there confuse the mind and torment the soul, binding travelers in a grip of such despair that escape is impossible to contemplate. As the new bride parted that heavy fog, I confess that I felt no such malaise beyond the onset of a rather stuffy nose. The same, I fear, could not be said of my crew. Among those who had not already cast themselves overboard, the gibbering and weeping became such that I was forced to bind them to the mast entire, and navigate my fair bride alone. I went in search of the plane's dark master, having been informed that even my ship could not hope to breach the planar boundaries without permission. And so I probed the mist, defiant at the helm, and belting out a lively shanty of my own composition. The invitation did not long go unanswered. He appeared like a passing of shadow overhead, sudden and terrifying, or certainly that was his intention, but once the mutual assurances of destruction were dispensed with, we found one another kindred spirits, and fell to conversing in earnest. At length, a price for my passage was agreed. Of that price and that man, I will say only this: he is a surprisingly excellent company, given the stories, and the teeth do not get in the way, nearly so much as one would think. So my tabletop group actually played through the Curse of Strahd is what the adventure is called. It's a 5e adventure. Well, it's existed, I think, in every edition from 2nd edition on. Might have even been 1st edition. They might have had a version, but it's following adventurers going through Barovia, which is a torn-off side realm off of the Forgotten Realms, and it's controlled by a vampire named Strahd. So that's what that is referring to. Swords of the Nerves and Minds, a treatise. I think we have read this about the guy who couldn't remember, threw the book into the fire and couldn't remember what had happened. We've read it a couple of times. And Encumbered, as always. I did pick up some heavy items, so I'm not terribly surprised. I don't care about either of those books, correct. The smart thing would be to mark things as wares when I know I don't care about them. That way I don't have to go through this and wonder what things I do care about. Anyway, we'll take all of that and give it to Lae'zel. And our camp supply only has one item in it. Alright. So this is a heavy book reading area. I guess episode as well. Why does this button not do anything?
Strange place for a button. Especially one that doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, let's ascend again. I have no idea how I missed that level, because I thought I was carefully going level by level.
New sounds to dampen her compression break. Is it the foe? That foul, contemptuous heel?
You know these words. They are from the opening stanza of a play you found in this very tower.
Oh no. I'm assuming this is the correct line. Or art thou a friend, a rescue from my lonely wake? Out of my way, I'm not interested in riddles. I'm a friend, I come in peace. I'm not foul or contemptuous, but I am a foe. No. We'll give the correct answer, assuming that is correct.
Come out of love for me, not love for blood and steel. Come on as you see fit, my lord.
How can I trust? Hell ever know. How can I show myself my darkest me? There's light in every living thing. It's crawling toward the surface to survive. This silence stretches on. I'm all alone. Please, can I hold your hands just for a while? Do I need to keep quoting? And which one of these is the correct quote? I just read the book, and already I've forgotten. Let's... This, can I hold your hands just for a while, sounds familiar in my head, but the how can I trust, how will I ever know also sounds familiar. It's possible all three of these were in the book. Well, let's just try it. How can I trust? How will I ever know? How can I show myself my darkest me?
Freedom of the deepest secret show. Reveal the truth. Do what you wish to see.
Okay. He gave me guiding light. A ring that lets me see, cast light. Fantastic. I mean, I don't have a ring. So cool, I can cast light now. Wait. My ring lit up. Must have been linked to that button. So I can descend or I can go all the way to the basement. Yeah, I have no idea how I missed all of this. We've got a bunch of animated armor. And then one named animated armor. Well, cool. This was super worth coming back for. Broken machinery. Don't need any of that. Broken machinery, I believe, is an alchemy ingredient. If I am recalling correctly. Yes. Although it's only showing one. We definitely picked up... It's different broken machinery? It doesn't stack? Weird. Patched parchment. The paper is torn and patched in many places, as if it were well used but treasured. On it is a small poem without a name. These empty sheets are all that's left of you, the last of all the thoughtless gifts you gave. I will hold on to them. It's all that I can do. I can't throw them away. I've never been that brave. And the broken machinery that's, whoa, sitting right there. Let's go upstairs. Anything of note here besides more animated armor? I'm glad we had read that book so I don't have to fight all of them because there are a lot of them. Level 3 though. Unless they had something weird going on. Assuming the level was reasonably accurately calculated. Level 5 would have been a bit more questionable. And we will talk to Bernard again afterwards, but for now I'm just looking around. Rope we don't need. Actually, just cast light on yourself. Now that you have a light spell, so it's not just Shadowheart. Yeah. Okay, that's everything looted. Except there's a ladder here. Okay, this doesn't actually go anywhere? So why have it? I'm thinking we could potentially jump. Maybe that's the point, but I don't see that that would actually get us anywhere useful. That tree is so cool looking. Yeah, I don't know. Let's talk to Bernard again. Doesn't seem to be anything of note up there. Which just strikes me as odd of why it would be there then. Bernard. What is this place?
An unbeknownst command that I cannot fulfill.
Who are you?
An unbeknownst command that I cannot fulfill.
Fair.
I'll hold on to them. It's all that I can do. I can't throw them away. I've never been that brave.
We've read that as well. It looked like he handed us something, but nothing shows up that it was given. That's the patched parchment. That's the most recent thing we've picked up.
Command as you see fit, my lord, my liege.
What are the other options? There's light in every living thing. It's crawling toward the surface to survive.
And in its wake, it tramples everything. Go kill the rest, so that the one can thrive.
No. No. Apparently that command is murder everything. I'm less thrilled. Let's... I saved beforehand, luckily. Because I want to see what the last option is. The fight and kill them all. It's a thing we could do. Though I don't see the point. Come on. Let's ask the third option then.
My lord, my liege.
So that was the one that had him give us the ring. That was murder us. It's a strange command to have in him. Silence stretches on. I'm all alone. Please, can I hold your hand just for a while?
Of course, my love. Don't be afraid, sweet girl. What can I do? Sorry, would you like a hug?
Do I want to be hugged by the strange clockwork golem? Sure. Is he gonna hug me and then break my spine?
His arms are too tight and too low for a comfortable hug, as if he's meant to be embracing someone slightly shorter.
Probably a dwarf.
You are lovely, Lord, so much. You're doing great. And everyone will be so proud of you. As I already am.
Huh. Like, there's a huge story going on with this area, and we've picked up pieces of it, but they're intentionally not spelling it all out.
Need to find a way forward.
That basement button wasn't there. Interesting. That is fun.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
So we know we saw it as soon as we cast light, but it straight up is invisible until we're over there with light. I wonder if that's how we missed the upper levels, that maybe the button we needed wasn't available until the right circumstances were invoked. Hey, Tamask Spores. Are you the one I was needing? Apparently you are. And more stuff we haven't gone through. How is this possible? Well, potentially the basement can only be accessed from the roof. I've read you many times. Basilisk oil. Let's see. 2 more copies of that same book. Magic of the Weave and an introduction. He had 2 of those upstairs already. What kind of person collects that many copies of the same book? Like, I like books as much as the next person, but I have 1 copy of any book I like. DeHurst's diary. Crisp cursive fills the pages of the diary, detailing the daily struggles of a cleric of Mystra studying the magical properties of the Underdark. The last entry dates back about 10 years. To Alturiak, 1481. Yeah, it's 1492 right now. So it's 11 years old. Although I don't know the current month. Or what month Alturiak is. Who would have thought 3 years ago that I would start a diary? Not a research journal, but a real diary. I guess when every soul is more like to kill you than to converse with you, talking to a book starts making sense. And who would have thought 3 years ago that I would be called back to Baldur's Gate to confer with the other clerics of Mystra, right at the apex of my studies? I have all the pieces, but I have barely started my treatise. No matter. I will take my ring with me and show them a glimpse of the possibilities. I will leave you, my dear book, here, together with the rest of my research, waiting to be finished. I should be back before next chess. LDH. Lenora? Lenora de Hurst? Maybe? The Sparks Wall. Spark Blocker. The wearer can't be electrocuted. Ooh. Grants resistance to lightning damage. What's the difference between electrocuted and lightning damage? Electrocuted is a condition where you take 1d4 lightning damage at the start of each turn. Okay. Elixir of Arcane Cultivation, spells, take all of that. And just for the fun of it, because I currently don't have any sort of resistance to lightning. So now, there's always the thought of doing something like create water on an enemy and then hitting them with electricity. Or if we had those like lightning boots that electrocute around us. I don't know who in our party has them. Boots of speed, spider step boots, no. Ugh.
My faith protects me.
Obviously not you.
Endurance breeds madness.
Springs. No, I think we had boots that creates electricity in the area around us.
Never a dull moment.
Maybe Karlach's holding on to them. Staff of Arcane Blessing. Mistress Blessing. Bless grants an additional 1d4 to saving throws and weapon attack rolls, and an additional 2d4 to spell attack rolls. Okay. Bless grants an additional 1d4 to saving throws and weapon attack rolls. So if we had Shadowheart hold on to this, she would be terrible in melee, but anytime she cast Bless, it's not just when you cast Bless from the staff, I don't believe. It doesn't specify that it even gives you the ability to cast Bless. But when you cast it, the people you use it on get huge bonuses to saving throws, weapon attack rolls, and spell attack rolls. Kind of want to try that, but yes, that's definitely a Shadowheart thing. Can't just drag it onto her. All right. Yes, you give it to Shadowheart. So if you equipped this, it's not bad actually. It does actually more damage than the spear. It just loses the true strike. Huh. Where's it getting the extra 2 damage? Because they're both D8 plus 1. Or you're going to use it one-handed, so D6 plus 1. Oh, it's because it recognizes that the spear is equipped one-handed. It thinks you're going to use this two-handed. But you're not. So it's now a 2 to 7 versus this is now a 2 to 9. So they're equivalent damage-wise. We lose the true strike, which we haven't used very much, but it means our bless is far more potent. Or is it specifically this bless and not... No. You get a freebie bless that doesn't take a spell slot. It's always prepared now. Once per long rest. Interesting. 1d4 to attack rolls and saving throws. Wait, is that what... That's what bless automatically does. Bless grants an additional 1d4 to saving throws and weapon attack rolls. So does that mean that bless now gives 2d4 to saving throws and weapon attack rolls and 2d4 to spell attack rolls? Does bless not normally boost spell attack rolls? It should. Anyway, however that's worded, it's weird, but sure. We'll grab some Tongue of Madness, which was the other ingredient we needed. So thankfully we came back here, they had the ingredient we needed there, and then the other ingredient here. So we're fine. Excavation of the Enclave of Naloth. Sure, Shadowheart, you take the lead and read it. Eleminster said Naloth was a wonder to behold when it floated in Faerun's sky. He was surely right. This Netherese, so it's Netherese, okay, Enclave was once a jewel of the Empire of Magic, with towers that pierced the heavens, and yet it fell just as all Netherese enclaves did, crashing down when Karsa's folly ripped magic from the world. But even after it collapsed into the sea, its ruins still had a strange twisted beauty. I traveled here from Halrua when I heard the sea had retreated and the ruins of Naloth were visible once again. Alas, I was not the first. Looters have stripped the Enclave of its material wealth, destroying much of its esoteric riches in the process. I found arcane books used to make campfires, their magic lost now to the ages. I have met some Shadowvar here whose interests align with mine, and we have agreed to search the ruins together. I'm grateful for these allies. The ruins are mostly filled with thick-skulled adventurers, but I can't shake the feeling that someone is watching us, waiting to see what we uncover.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Nope. Pick it up.
More for me.
Yeah, there's so many books on Netherese. I'm sure we're going to run into something about that. It's going to be relevant again. So we could just ascend. Or we can take the stairs up. Have we been here? Yes. We have been here. We have not been through here. I'm guessing that's a door and it's hidden, which is why we didn't go through it. Let's check out this metal door. Nope, that takes us back here. Hang on. Oh, I was thinking that was the door we came through. We came through that door. We get up here. There's clearly some sort of secret door here. Lever. That's why we never made it down there. Gotcha. We have not looted all this? Or did it come back? Maybe when we leveled up or something? Or maybe I just missed that one crate? No? I'm sure I would have looted all the things.
What's inside?
I'm usually pretty good about looting everything. Nope, that's still empty. These things have already been looted. Did I actually miss a bunch of stuff? Apparently I did. How about that? So that's where we put the flower that turned on the tower. And yeah, all of this is looted. So when we find the front door again, we can get out of this tower. Because I think we've accomplished our task. Here we... Nah, that's not the front door. I'm gonna say here we are. Is that... No. I think the front door is up one more level. There we are. Huzzah.
Seems simple enough.
Nope, don't close the doors. Go out the doors. There's the Susar flower we dropped there. Alright. But with that, I think I'm gonna call the episode quits here. And I will see you next time, where we'll certainly start with taking those ingredients back to the Myconids area and see how that progresses, because I'm curious. Now that we've got the ingredients we need for their attempt at breaking through the protection on the parasite, I don't know. I'm super curious. And then from there, I think I'll probably go upstairs just to see where it takes me, but I might just hop back down and continue to the Underdark. I guess we'll see. Not set in stone necessarily what we'll do, but the Myconid village for the parasite investigation is definitely going to be the start. But I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.